fishing. People, when you're in the mood, let's go fishing. Well, it's just me and you. Head on down to the fishing hole. Grab your hat, get your pole. Let's go fishing when you're in the mood.
Canadian Sport Fishing, brought to you in part by Rapala, premium fishing gear crafted from experience. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Ray Marine Electronics, Ray Marine, simply superior. Fast Fender, the easiest way to attach and adjust your fender. Easy Docker, docking made easy.
Yes! Nice fish. Only problem is, I don't have a wire leader on. This looks like a pike. Nice pike. Oh, just a back hook in the mouth. Are you gonna, oh! There's something about being eye level with a fish when it jumps out of the water, let me tell you. What a nice northern. I'm guessing he's about 7-8 pounds. You know what? If you want a real challenge, trying to get fish, it's fun fishing out of a boat, and I love our team boats, but fishing out of a Pelican kayak and just stealth fishing like this, being very close to the water, sneaking up on these fish. That guy didn't even know what hit him when I set the hook. Actually, he's hooked well. If he comes off, man, he's got tons of energy. You better be sure that that fish is ready to grab. Let's see. Oh, perfect. Look it. Isn't that a nice northern? I'm gonna try to get the hooks out. You know, the Ray Marine says it's about 57 degrees, and I believe it, because it's kind of cold. I'll tell you, to get him from a kayak, and I'm low, so you might spray me. Didn't have him out of the water that long. Oh, beautiful fish. So what I'm doing, you know, I started off by trolling, and you might think, well, isn't it kind of hard to troll with paddle kayak? No, it's not. As a matter of fact, I was doing 1.7 to 2 miles an hour at an easy paddle. And you can put rod holders on the boat. They've got these nice railings, but I just literally do the Italian rod holder. So I have the rod butt under my knee, and I have the other one like this. And because this kayak has all these different positions for your feet, there's no problem finding the right position. But because we came onto the shoreline and I started marking some weeds with my Ray Marine, I started casting. So it's really nice that I can mount the Ray Marine, and you know what? I'm using the same base that I use on the team boats. And you can see the cables are going around my back seat. I have the transducer in there. This is awesome. And the kayak is so light. Man, that was a thrill. When he hit like a muskie. Now this week I'm especially excited because the company that I've worked with since about 1987, Pelican International, they sent me a brand new kayak. It's called the Argo 100X Angler. And it's a sit-on-top kayak, but it's an entry-level kayak. If you're looking for an inexpensive and versatile way to fish anywhere, even in water where other boaters can't get in, a kayak is the way to go. Yes! Trolling fish. Oh, it looks like a smallmouth. It broke water. I'm giving you that play-by-play. Came up from 20 feet to about 14 feet. Let's hope it stays on. Haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna loosen that drag up a bit. Oh, what a nice hit. You know, I've chosen to use spinning outfits. I've got two of them. One really light, in case I'd be finesse fishing, and then one, this is the R-type rod for casting crankbaits and spinners. And I'll tell you, this guy's fighting pretty good. Now what do? He's got a stick in his mouth too. Come on. You know what? That's a decent sized smallmouth to get out of the kayak. He's got to be about 17, 18 inches. And look at the one hook. Those VMC hooks are so sharp. You know, they say that the smallmouths put the feed bag on in the fall, and it's true. Before the water gets really cold, they do feed very heavily. Look how beautiful and clear this water is. I'm just gonna let him go right there, and he should dive right under the kayak. Come on. Beautiful. Man, I'm telling you, you know, a good lure for trolling is this suspended shad wrap. You can listen to how loud the rattles are. There's only one, but you know what? Because I'm pulsating when you're kayak fishing, you know, you don't have a steady speed like you do with a motor, even an electric trolling motor or with an outboard motor. So just the fact that when you take a paddle, that lure is speeding up, slowing down, speeding up, slowing down, it gives it a real tantalizing action. Now, you can spend a few $100s on a kayak, especially a sit-in one, which isn't ideal for fishing because you're too low in it, trying to cast or to troll. Or you can spend several $1,000s and totally rig your kayak for fishing. This one is made by Pelican. It's actually called their Argo. You can see the name right here, 100X Angler. And it's ideal because it's an entry level. It's worth about $600 Canadian. And it's an ideal kayak because it's a sit on top. It comes with a really comfortable seat that you can adjust by making it more vertical or more horizontal if you want to just relax. It locks in, it has these nice locking devices. The paddle is adjustable, so you can adjust it into 3 positions. You can see that I've got it locked down with a bungee, so it can't go anywhere. I really like these footrests that they have. So they're molded plastic on both sides of the kayaks that you can put your feet in and adjust them. Sometimes I'll troll with one knee up and I'll put my rod there and I'll put the other rod underneath my leg and I'll have it extended, so it's perfect for any position. You can see that they have a rod holder right here, or you can actually put even like a GoPro base. And what I've done here, because they've got these nice rails that you can put accessories on, like another rod holder, you can see that I've got my transducer bracket right here for my Raymarine, and I mounted my Raymarine on the mount. This particular mount is by Scotty, same people that do the rod holders and the downriggers. And then back here, you can see that it comes with 2 rod holders. You can put your rods on either side. And I keep all of my tackle and gear in a really nice Pelican bag. So it's water resistant, even if you get it splashed or it rains. And I just keep it behind me. Very easy to reach at things. You know, when it comes to kayak fishing, I like to fish close to shore. And I like to try to find fish that are pretty active. And in the fall, sometimes, you know, some fish species can get pretty inactive, like largemouth bass, when you get into late October, November, can become very lethargic. So one of the fish species that I target is smallmouth bass. Smallmouth bass are more of a colder water fish. They adapt very well to the dropping water temperatures. And I like smallmouth bass because they'll move off the shorelines into that 10 to 20 feet of water. Closed captioning is brought to you by K100. We make water burn. Second trolling fish. Things have changed a little bit. You can see the waves on the water, but it's okay. It's still warm. Come on, where are you? Don't know how big it is. He nailed it again. You know, I have my drag tight when I'm trolling to get a good hook set, but then when I'm fighting a fish, especially using a lighter fluorocarbon leader, I always let off on it. They've got so much power. No, the water's not that cold. It's 57 according to the Raymarine, 57.7. So it's almost 60 degrees. And if I go into the shore, it'll be just fine. I don't mind. These Pelican kayaks are pretty tough. Yeah, it looks like another nice smallmouth, just hooked by the back hook again. Look at gorgeous fish. Good size fish. He's actually got one hook in his mouth, one tagged in the back. Look, gotta have pliers. And for safety, you gotta wear some kind of a personal flotation device when you're in a kayak. There, drop that crankbait in the water. Really should have a lanyard on my pliers, but I don't. Look at, nice smallmouth. Oh, fresh. For the bass, this might not be cold, but for me, it's pretty cool. Okay, Mr. Smallmouth? Phew, gone. You know, this is awesome. All I'm doing is covering water. So I kayaked up. My strategy is to kayak into the wind. Pretty smart, right? So that I get up as far as I can, maybe 4 or 5 kilometers before these arms give out like this, you know? Actually, it's pretty easy because the seat's so nice. And then the strategy is to drift back with the wind and cast the whole breaks all the way down. You know, besides smallmouth bass, I love catching pike. And pike seem to be very active, even if you get cold front conditions when you get into the fall.
Pike, of course, associate more with weeds. Smallmouth bass in the fall associate themselves more with rocky structures or deeper water weeds. One thing that I really appreciate when I'm kayak fishing is to have a sonar. And what I do is I take my Raymarine element that I have on the team boats and I bring it over and I use a Scotty attachment. It's almost like a ram mount. You can see it right here. And I attach it onto that sliding, the nice bar that they have on the kayak. Now, as far as the cables and transducer, you can see the cables right here. The power cable and the transducer cable coming out of it actually goes around my back. And I've got a small battery there. You can see the battery right behind me. And here, the transducer's hanging, and it's actually on an extension of a Scotty rod holder. So you can see how it's hanging down perfectly. And when I get inshore, if the water's getting too shallow, because the transducer has to be below the water line to work well, all I do is push the unlock, and I pop it off, and I put it in the kayak. It's a really great system, and as you can see, I'm getting a great signal from the Raymarine sonar. We're in about 14, 15 feet of water. You can see the bottom, you can see the bait fish. It really helps, especially if you're trolling in the fall, when the fish move out of that shallow water and you're trying to follow the contour lines, either of the shoreline break or where the weeds come out and they end. You know, smallmouth bass are gorgeous fish. I mean, they're so active, and one thing that I like is in the fall, some people, you know, use the term they put on the feed bag. You know, it's like putting a feed bag on a horse when you want them to eat, especially oats and things like that. They feed really heavily. And they do that because once the lake's ice over, they do become pretty lethargic and they'll head into pretty deep water. But October, November, you can see most of the bass that I catch have really nice bellies because they've been feeding a lot on bait fish. And they've got gorgeous colors, that bronze and green, and they still fight hard and they still come out of the water. Yes! Rocking and rolling in a kayak. My idea of fun. Come on, fish, pull me back out to deeper water. It's fighting like a smallmouth. Yeah. This is amazing. You know, we're actually midday. We didn't start too early this morning. And for the fall, we've got an excellent day. Boy, nice. Smallmouth, bigger than that last one. How am I going to land you, smallmouth? Come on over here. Maybe under the belly. Ooh, yeah. Good fish. Okay, got that hook out. There. Oh no, I got one out, the other one's in there. Look at, gorgeous smallmouth. It's got to be a 4-pounder, thick fish. They are so beautiful. Better put my paddle in the kayak. I get so carried away with admiring the fish. Isn't that amazing? Just cranking shorelines. Okay, he's gonna be released. Gorgeous fish. Watch him take off. Beautiful. Okay, time to get out away from the shoreline. Reverse thruster. Yes, Captain. No problem. Raymarine Electronics. Raymarine, simply superior. You know, this is kind of fun, just strolling along, just off the shorelines. You know, smallmouth bass and largemouth bass and pike really feed a lot right on the shorelines. And these particular shorelines that we've been going by, it drops off. It's about 4 or 5 feet at shore and then drops off to about 10, 15 feet, which is perfect. I just hope he stays on because I'd love to hold this guy up. I don't know, he's hooked just in the snout. And I don't think he's done yet. Can I? Yes, got him. You know, it just goes to show you that if you have your drag set right, oh, look, the hook just fell out. As long as one barb gets into the fish, you know, you can hold on to the fish. Very healthy fish, beautiful models, amazing fight. From a kayak, I'll tell you, I'll catch these fish all day long. They're beautiful. Okay, I'm just gonna gently release them down. Nice and refreshing, that water. And let go of my thumb. And what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when they come for you? Come on, do I have to touch them? There he goes. That water's refreshing. Now, you know, the reason they call it the RS, jointed shad wrap, first of all, it's made out of plastic. So it's very durable.
It has really good rattles. It's jointed, but what I like is the suspending, especially when you're kayaking. So I'm just gonna toss it out. You can see it even on a toss, it literally just sits about 6 inches, not even 4 inches below the surface. If I pull on it, dives down about a foot, stays there. So the reason that's important when you're paddling especially, or even if you have a pedal boat, is that when you pause, or if you've got wind that you're dealing with, as soon as you stop pulling it, it's not gonna rise up out of the strike zone. It's gonna stay down at whatever depth you wanna fish at. You know, I love pike. They're aggressive, they're good hitters, they have really good eyesight, so in clear water they can zoom in on whatever baits you're using. They can feel vibrations and they have good hearing. I love catching them, but one thing you gotta respect is their teeth. Whenever I'm handling them, you know, if they're not really large where I gotta use a net or a cradle, I try to hold them just behind where the head meets the body, and I clamp my fingers down on their gill plates because it kind of goes in a little bit so you can hold them. That doesn't hurt them. I try to avoid getting my hands underneath the gill plates where the gills are, like we do sometimes with walleye and other fish. And when it comes to taking the hooks out, I use pliers. You gotta use pliers, and it's good to have at least 6-inch needle nose pliers. So you get those hooks out, keep them away from your hands. Whenever I'm kayak fishing, you're gonna see me wearing my PFD. It's important. This particular one is nice because it's got the pull cord, and it's got the CO2 cylinder, so that if I do fall over, you know, especially in November, the water can be pretty cold, it inflates. But when I'm fishing, I'm very mobile. I have no problem. Also, I wear a waterproof top and I wear rain pants over my jeans because it's very easy to get dripped on, or if you get into adverse weather and it starts raining, at least you're gonna stay dry. The one thing that I do when I'm kayak fishing is pack light. So if I have something that I'm enjoying, like maybe some meat or pepperettes, I actually put them in my pouch of my hoodie or my rain jacket. My tackle consists of only 2 or 3 small satchels. I'll keep some spinners, some crankbaits, some soft plastics, and those are all kept behind me, behind the seat in a bag, so I can reach back and get them. So I find you don't need a lot of stuff in the boat, and I like having the pliers right in front of me. So I have them right in between my legs, so that when I get a fish, I bring it over the side, I've got my pliers right there, I take the hook out and release the fish. Yes! Come on. Come on, you gonna jump? You know, the one thing I tell people, if you're gonna be fishing from a kayak, don't use a short rod, because you wanna be able to get your rod around the front of the kayak. Okay, can I get him in? Are you gonna do something? Calm down, calm down. It's always good to take it easy when you're gonna land your fish, you know. I could be doing this all day long, especially on a nice October. Wait, I am doing it all day long. Isn't that a beautiful smallmouth? Gorgeous. I just can't get over how nice and fat they are. They're all chubby bass. I love nice bass. You know, in this outfit, I've got that high visibility. This is the 832. It's the braided line. This one's 20-pound test. And I've done that because where we're fishing, there's a lot of areas where there's big weed beds. And I'm surprised they haven't hooked more pike, because the pike are usually mixed in with the bass. But because of that high visibility line, I've also got a fluorocarbon leader. So my leader, I'm just gonna show you here, is not too long. It's about, I'm gonna say, yeah, it's almost 3 feet long, almost 3 feet. And I've used a blood knot to make my connection. I don't know if you can see that. The braid is a little bit fluffy, it's worn out, but that blood knot will slide right through the tip guide.
Rod Runner Canada, grab and go fishing.
Gonna try to swing him around the front of the boat, see if he stays on. Oh. The nice thing about kayaks is that there's nothing really that hangs down. I have a small anchor behind me, but other than that, there's nothing that things can get stuck on. Look at this little pike, he's so cute. He's like just hooked ever so lightly. Wonder if he's gonna throw the hook. Come on. Surprised you hit that crankbait. Look at, perfect colors. Oh, and he wasn't gonna hang around. You know, one thing I rely on when I'm in the kayak or in the boat is Raymarine electronics. You might think that, you know, you don't really need them in a kayak because most people think of kayak fishing shallower water, you know, where you can literally touch the bottom with your paddle. Well, a lot of times when I fish out of my kayak in the fall, I'm fishing breaks that are 10 to 20 feet deep or even down to 30 feet. and finding where those breaks are, seeing any weeds that come out far into like 15, 20 feet of water, marking structure that comes off the bottom, anywhere from like 5 to 10 feet of difference, are key areas to find fish like smallmouth bass and pike. One thing that's sometimes awkward in a kayak is when you hook a fish and it's behind you. You know, whenever I fish in a kayak, I dress appropriately. So I've got actually rain pants over my pants, and I am wearing the Liguanos, even though it's cool because it's nice that I can go in the water with them if I need to. Let me see here if I can, whoa, he jumped like a muskie. There we go. Just so I can get him on the proper side of the boat for me to grab him. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't try to grab him a little earlier. He's still wily. Okay, got him. Yeah, he's a nice thick fish. Tell you what, and that's with that 15-pound fluorocarbon leader. I'm glad that that's what I had on, not lighter for the bass. Can you tell that these are two of my favorite lures? Well, I actually caught all the fish on them today. There's a reason why. These are the Rapala RS, that means rattling and suspended, jointed shad wraps. They are the perfect size and color to use if you're casting or if you're trolling, especially from a kayak. It looks like a nice bass. And does he have weeds on there? Look at this. Unbelievable. I've done this with other lures, but never in a kayak. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? One bass is really nice size. It's about 3.5 pounds. So let me do one, get it off first. Look at Mom, I got two nice bass. Okay, this one's going in the water first. Watch it take off because I haven't out very long. There it goes. Number 2. I noticed I put gloves on because it was getting chilly. This guy really nailed the back. That is funny. That's why it felt funny. It felt like I had bottom, but then my rod started to bounce. Look at, here little bass, here, sweetheart. Look, there they go. No worse for wear. Now, is this an amazing lure? This is that RS suspended shad wrap, jointed, and it's just amazing.
Canadian Sport Fishing, brought to you in part by Rapala, premium fishing gear crafted from experience. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Raymarine Electronics, Raymarine, simply superior. Fast Fender, the easiest way to attach and adjust your fender. Easy Docker, docking made easy.
Look. See if I can turn him around. Man, you know, this fish is probably about 2.5 pounds. Fought so hard, but I think part of the reason was because of the way that hook is. So he has the one hook in his mouth, and then this other one got tagged on his body.